Okay, so this is a movie I'm calling Coast Family Law Review. As I understand it, because I should zip this up here, Coast Family Law is a little brand new boutique baby divorce law firm.
That's gross. Priceline. Every trip is a big deal.
Gearhart. There's a lot of money in gearhart. There's really a lot of money to be made in divorce. I'm never married. I'm anti-marriage. I'm too feminist to marry. Unless it was probably for some really rocked citizenship. And the man who I had a stalking order hired the divorce lawyer. So the stalker hired a divorce lawyer. I do believe this man was madly in love with me in a, like, do you want to spend the rest of your life with me kind of way, which he appeared to be also doing to his coworker, and has whatever with his Mormon mother of all these children, some other man. So anyway, I think the Coast Family Law Review would really indicate that if you're looking for a bully to intimidate someone, say you're in the wrong, say you can't show up to court because you know you're in the wrong, you know you've made self-incriminating statements, this is a good law firm for you because they will bully your adversary, your sexual assault victim, or whatever. This probably isn't kosher and cool in a progressive way of thinking. Like if you're a progressive who works for progressive causes or leftist or in any way believe in equality or rights for women or rights for sexual abuse survivors, you might not feel comfortable signing off on what they do. For whatever reason, my assailant, who pinned me down with herpes, pressed his dick on me and pinned my legs so I could not kick him in the balls to get him off of me, putting bruises in my arm. Chris Duffy of Meals on Wheels about Chisholm hired this lawyer to continue the abuse process. So when Caleb Mammon from Oregon Law Center advised a stalking order, I think in some ways he's brilliant. And luckily, I was strong enough to withstand 5 months of bullying from this attack lawyer. And he's from Fresno. I get it. You know, it's like the part of California that people don't want going to because they're full of like kind of bad air and bad people. And I get it that you're being a bully. And I think at the point at which my civil liberties are more important than this agenda, I think I just, I don't know, I wouldn't really interact with, but here's a positive, here's a plus I can put on my Coast Family Review. If you have to deal with them, if you were beaten by your husband and they hired Chris Palmer to bully you in the courts, or if you have been, stalked or assaulted by someone offering you a job, like me, I was the job applicant to Coast Radio and the community center who had to get sexually, have this breast groped by this huge man who tried to put his hands in my pants and then pinned his dick on me against my will after telling me he has herpes. If you're that kind of person, ask for Megan, because she's nice. Liz is not nice, Megan is nice. I don't know if Megan is the like secretary or the new person who hasn't gotten with the protocol of bullying victims. I think this is very backward. It is the sticks. It is roughly not a progressive place to live. I live here because I like the ocean and the air quality. I don't live here for the morons. So in a judicial sense, I do believe that the judge gave this abuser too much latitude to abuse me in court, but that through the long abuse process of the discovery abuse, which is still under appeal with General Counsel of the Oregon State Bar, and which I have opened my bar complaint even further,
and walking those 24 cases into North Korea.
I think I was able to prove my point that this defendant, this respondent, had no interest in showing up to clear his name. He had no ability to walk back his previous statements that were self-incriminating. He knew being under penalty of perjury is a serious thing. I definitely am not afraid of perjury because I'm an honest person, but when you have done something very wrong and violent, it's a different scenario. So his client was very scared, and I think what Christopher Palmer achieved for me is he proved that my abuser is willing to abuse further, and that his client doesn't believe in my right against Fourth Amendment violation, that his client wanted to like create a bunch of insinuations and innuendo about me in the courtroom did not sit well with me, Mr. Eng, as Judge Matthias gendered me. And at which point I'm the one who basically like released Palmer from the bad client he already admitted trying to dump. He told the Oregon State Bar, he sat down with his client and said, can you get another lawyer? Like, this is really having trouble defending you. I'm in a quandary. He used that word, quandary. So the quandary was ongoing. Palmer tried to snipe me in court and say a bunch of derogatory things, but he muttered and mumbled them so under his breath as to be indecipherable, like half-hearted, insincere, and for that reason I'm able to forgive him. I realize he's just stating his lines, which are to me like trying to attacking a disabled person in disability housing when you work with disabled people is the problem. Putting the disabled person on trial for those disabilities is not. That is a distraction. That is a separate role, and Chris Duffy is not the prosecutor of my disability. He's not my Social Security Administrative Review. He's not a psychiatric review board. He is a man who pushed his dick on me against my will, and he's trying to change the subject. And
you tell me what you think Kim Jong-un is thinking. But
I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with arbitration due to the last phone call I just had with Liz Moore, who did these terrible discovery things. I wish the best for her. I will pray for her. I do know there are other victims of Coast Family Law out there being abused mercilessly by this bully lawyer, Christopher Palmer, to induce more trauma in women who have experienced violence or sexual violence from men. And I was given a very heavy-handed treatment. I believe I was given the heavy-handed ex-wife treatment, which was really creepy because the whole connection was I was getting a job at Progressive Radio. So I'd like Progressive Radio in Astoria to know, Coast Radio to know, that their client stalked me through the courts and lengthened the abuse cycle. And I believe it's very sick, and he's acting in self-interest to bully and suppress and induce trauma in a survivor of sexual violence. And I believe my forthcoming notice to the courts about the evidence that needed to be entered, the subpoena, and my openness by sharing absolutely everything they need online is kind of it's ironic that the motion to compel basically wanted me to scoop everything that's publicly available that the attorney most likely has, because he's my internet troll as well, and then have me submit it under penalty of jail or contempt finding, a fine or something. And I think this is absolutely not how it's supposed to work. A sexual assault victim is not supposed to be threatened with jail. So I've proved my point that the system hates women, the courts hate women, the justice system in Clatsop County hate women, and that the judge would allow this bully to extenuate the process when the hearing was supposed to occur within 30 days, and with at most a 30-day extension continuance indicates to me possible judicial foul play, or maybe this is uncharted waters for everybody. Maybe nobody knows how obstructive a counsel might be on this type of a case, and I regret the National Crime Database is not able to intake a permanent order, because I think that is a very important goal to have when there is an abuser who likes to work around vulnerable people. But I do believe I have to cut my losses and work on the incredible amount of heart pain it gives me to see this type of abuse, and the abuse facilitators, such as an abusive law firm such as Coast Family Law.
Some days there's just not enough